Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable Santa bunny. He can hang as a Christmas tree ornament, and he makes a great gift for anyone. Santa bunny, you will need paper, pencil, scissors, a small amount of stuffing. I'm using red, black, cream, yellow, and sparkly white felt. You'll need thread that goes with your felt, and of course pins and needles, and any color floss of your choosing. First thing to do is draw the pattern for your Santa bunny. I want mine to be about 3 inches tall, so I'm just going to make marks there to help keep my bunny that tall. I'm going to start by making him have an oval head. I'm going to make my Santa, of course, a little plump. So I'm going to make his body kind of like, like a raindrop or something, with the tip kind of cut off, because I want it to get a little thinner up here and longer. I'm going to make him have little boots. Don't worry about making the feet and arms or ears identical, because if you like one foot better than the other, just use that pattern piece for both feet. Do the arms and the ears. Once you're happy with your pattern, you can begin to cut it out. Once you've finished cutting out your pattern pieces, you can begin pinning them to your felt and cutting out pieces. You will want 2 body pieces, 2 leg pieces, 2 arms, 2 ears, and 2 head pieces. I am going to make his body, cut his body piece out of red felt, his foot out of black felt, and his ears, arms, and head out of cream colored felt. Don't be afraid when you're cutting out your pieces to change your pattern a little bit. If you think his foot should be bigger or smaller, do it. Or if you think his arm should be longer, don't be afraid to deviate from what you wrote. Alright, once you have 2 leg pieces, 2 body pieces, 2 arms, 2 head pieces, and 2 ears, you can begin to cut the pieces for your Santa bunny's outfit. To set the other pieces aside. Okay, from my white sparkly felt, I'm going to cut a small strip like this, and I'm just going to kind of look at it, and that first look that Santa has, I'm going to cut wavy on both sides. You make this as thick as you want it to be, or as wavy as you want it to be. Turn it over and you can trim it so it looks perfect. Alright, once you've done that, taking your black felt, cut another little rectangular strip, and this is going to be Santa's belt, so you can make it as thick as you want it to be. I think that's nice, and you can just lay it across like that and trim so it fits just right on your Santa. And now I'm going to take a tiny square from my yellow felt, and I think that looks good. So I'm going to fold it in half, the tiny square in half, and I'm going to make 2 tiny snips. Not all the way through, just a little here, a little here. See, I've kind of made a little thing there, and I'm going to snip that off. And if it's not neat, you can just clean it up a little. And now, it's his little buckle for his belt. Now you can thread your needle with some yellow thread and just tack the buckle down. Don't worry about tacking the white fur or the belt down yet. I have just whip stitch around the very center of the buckle, and I'm going to turn my work over and make a small knot and snip my thread. Now I'm going to take the back side of the body, put on top, and the legs, and I'm just going to pin them in between the two body pieces. Arrange them how you like them, and just pin them in place. Don't put the arms way up here. Make sure they go down a little ways, because the head is where it's going to be sewn a little overlapping like that to the body. Alright, you can set the body aside and now take one of the head pieces. I am going to stitch on my Santa Bunny's face. I'm just going to insert my needle, which is threaded with some black thread. I'm just going to insert it where I think the first eye should go. Just going to go up like this. Insert my needle right by where the other thread is. Go up again. And I'm just going to do this until I think the eye looks good. When you're done with the first eye, just cross over and try to align the eyes as best you can. It's difficult. As long as they're not horribly off, no one will notice. Felt can sometimes be a little thin, and you can see that bit of black thread. So to fix that problem, just cut a tiny little piece of your cream colored felt and stick it under the string like that, and no one will ever see it now. Alright, I have threaded my needle with some pink thread, and now I'm going to stitch on the nose and mouth. I'm going to insert my needle where I think the nose should be. I'm going to make my bunny have a little triangle nose, so I'm going to just make shorter and shorter lines after the first one. You could also just do a rectangular nose. It is easier. Start decreasing the length of your stitches. When you're happy with how the nose looks, you can start on the mouth. Insert your needle right under the bottom of the nose. Go straight down a little ways. Come up at the side for a smile. Go back to the center. Oops. Go back up on this side. And then back to the center. And I like going over both those spots again, just to make the smile a little more bold. Put your two head pieces together, insert your ears in between the two pieces, and pin them in place. Now you can put the head and body together you can pin the head in place. Alright, I am going to start sewing my bunny up. I've threaded my needle with some cream colored thread. I'm going to insert my needle right in between the two head pieces here. And tuck my knot in. And I am going to start whip stitching the head together. I am going to whip stitch all along here and stop when I've just passed the second ear and start stuffing the Santa Bunny's head. Right, I've just passed the second ear and I'm going to start stuffing the head. You probably want a pen or any small thin object to help you get the stuffing in there. Once I finish stuffing the head, I'm going to continue to whip stitch down to the base of the neck. Once I reached the base of the neck, I'm going to make a small knot and insert my needle in between two stitches and up the top, in between the head, the top seam, and pull the knot through. And then once you've done that, you can snip the thread as close to the head as you can. I have threaded my needle with some red thread and inserting my needle in between the two body pieces here. I am going to whip stitch all along here, and once I have come to a little past the second leg, I'm going to stop, stuff the body, and then continue to sew up to the base of the neck. I'm going to make sure that I grab the tips of the belt and whip stitch them to the body. Alright, I reached the base of the neck and I've made a small knot, so I'm just going to insert my needle in between two stitches and bring my needle out to the other side and tug so the knot hides and snip my thread. Now comes the really fun part. You get to make his beard and hat. I am taking the white sparkly felt and I'm going to make a little smaller square out of it and I'm going to hold it up to his face and I'm going to cut a big scoop in it like this. And then I am just going to trim his beard until I am happy with it. Make sure that it reaches the bottom of his ears like that. When you're happy with the beard, you can just stick a few pins here and here to keep it in place until you sew it. Now I'm going to take a rectangle of my red felt, fold it in half, and cut a triangle out of it for his hat. And you can cut it and shape it until you're happy with it. Alright, and then taking a little piece of my sparkly white felt, I am going to cut another little fur strip for the edge of the hat. And a little, I don't know, what do you call it? A little fur ball? No, not a fur ball, I don't know. That little puffy thing. Pom-pom! Yeah, pom-pom. And the, for the tip of Santa's hat. Now take any, I don't know, whatever size piece of felt you want, whatever you think is good for hanging an ornament on the Christmas tree. You can actually skip this step and not make Santa Bunny an ornament. You can just make it like a little decoration for a shelf or a present for a kid, a little kid. I want to make mine an ornament. I'm making it for my sister. I'm going to tie a pretty big knot here so that I can stick it in the hat and it won't come out. Alright, I have a pretty big knot on the end of my loop of floss. Now I'm going to pin the hat to my Santa. The back piece goes here, the front piece goes in front of the ears. And I'm just going to pin that there. It's kind of difficult to pin it. I don't know, do your best. And I am going to put his little pom-pom in between the pieces here. And behind the pom-pom, I'm going to stick the knot of the floss down in there. And then I'm going to pin this together so that doesn't come out. Alright, I've decided I'm actually going to take the hat off while I stitch on his beard. I have threaded my needle with some cream colored thread, and I am just going to do tiny little stitches here and probably somewhere down here and on the top here. I'm just going to let my knot show on the top here and bring my needle over here because the hat is going to cover that part of his head anyway. Now I have threaded my needle with some red thread. I'm just going to whip stitch around the whole edge of the hat. Once you finish that, your Santa bunny is done. Thanks so much for watching. The video turned out a little longer than I was expecting, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please check out some of my other videos, and please subscribe. Merry Christmas!